What's up, Joseph?
Hi, man. It's a pleasure to be here on a call with you.
Yeah, man, I'm
Thank
super,
you for having
super
me.
excited. Um, if you want to start it off with what's the business you do, who you are, give a little bit of an intro.
Absolutely, absolutely. So my name is Josef, and basically, I've been working in the marketing sphere for the last 3 years. And I have to say, honestly, the path I took, I wouldn't be where I find myself today without Anthony. Because in the first year and a half, I was kind of just testing things. I was trying a lot of things out because, as you know, when you're starting out, you don't necessarily know very well what you're good at or what even are the opportunities online. And that kind of was the biggest issue I was facing because at the time I was in university. I was in my second year of university, and I was very quote unquote lost in this online business sphere. But basically, I met Anthony, I met you in Capital Club, if you remember. So we had this opportunity to meet each other in a network, and you immediately stood out. And from just a couple of calls initially there, which we were doing with the community, then we got the opportunity to talk one on one. You dedicated a lot of time to me, and everything changed from there, to be honest. So I would love to get after in the details on how everything played out. But yeah, to kind of summarize your question, I have a marketing agency, a 360-degree marketing agency. We focus on multiple areas, so primarily media buying, but also, for example, copywriting, video editing, graphic design. So these are kind of the things that we're currently working with.
That's amazing, man. I remember, like I said, it feels like it was just yesterday that we met each other, and to
Yeah,
think that was over 2 years ago or almost 2 years
yeah,
ago. Like that's time flies.
it
Um,
does. It really does.
so we'll start with where were you before we started working together, and what
Mhm.
was going on in your business or life? So you kind of went into that a little bit. If you want to go a little bit more in depth of like
Absolutely, absolutely. So
what
basically,
that looked like.
when we started, actually when we met, I was still doing copywriting, and I was struggling to get a couple of clients here and there. I was doing these kind of side gigs, but for very cheap, right? And immediately the thing that kind of stood out to me the most, and I want to be brutally honest with this interview. So regardless of who is listening to this, the thing that stood out to me the most was the sheer amount of passion and the focus you put on the individual. I remember we had a call together that lasted 3 hours and 20 minutes. We had it on, I think, on Instagram, this video call. And that call there alone, I know because I remember you are very, at the time when we were talking, you had a lot of things going. Dedicating all of that time there to me, simply to help me out, to guide me through the right path. I think that alone was a huge stepping stone on the whole path that came after. So I would want to start from there because I was doing copywriting. I was lost, as I said. I didn't really know what I was necessarily doing because I hadn't seen too much success, not only in my own entrepreneurial kind of life, but at the same time, I wasn't connected with a lot of people. I didn't have a lot of entrepreneurs in my network, and you by you showing me what the opportunities were, by you showing me kind of what could be done, that I think was one of the most important things that happened because you kind of opened my mind to what's possible. That's what I'm trying to get to. And basically, you helped me shift from copywriting, which I was decent at, but not necessarily my quote unquote passion. It was a good starting point for entrepreneurship. But then you got me into the media buying sphere, which I had no clue how to operate in. But the good thing is that you kind of showed me a bit how to move in it, how to conduct myself in that sphere there. And you were very supportive. Now, every time I was hassling you with questions, you were always there answering them. So honestly, I'm grateful for that. But yeah, I that was kind of the start of my agency because it literally started with me running a media buying service. Asked you a lot of questions, you answered all of them. You told me what to focus on, what to not focus on, where to not waste my time. I got my first client with that, but then I wanted to expand. So then you connected me with the right people, especially in Capital Club. And then the rest is kind of history because mm, I got the opportunity to work with high level individuals such as Lewis, Josh, and also joining their team, I was able to kind of take my whole skills to another level and to operate, yeah, as I said, to operate at a new level and making more money and kind of, yeah, working better.
That's amazing, man. Yeah, I remember those long talks when we first met. They were, you know,
Yeah,
I love it. Like I love that's where like I feel my most authentic self, really helping people kind of take all of the information that's in their head and find that signal that path, right? And through all of that
yeah.
noise. So, what would you say that you were struggling with most at the time? And what did that feel like day to day?
So the thing I was struggling the most, I kind of hinted to that, was guidance and clarity because I had a lot of ideas. I had this desire inside for success, but I didn't know how to materialize it because I had never seen it. So
Once you see it, you
you
can't unsee it.
exactly. So once you showed me what you were doing for yourself and the success you were having for yourself, that kind of broadened my whole picture of what I was even capable of doing. Because I, at the time, yeah, we were, I met you 2 years ago, but I was still in the second year of university. Around the first year, that's, as I said, when I started. And at the time, I didn't really know what I wanted to do in my future because I just finished high school. I was studying law. My ideas were to potentially do, I don't know, to become a lawyer or something, an international lawyer. But that wasn't necessarily my passion. And now I can truly say that I think I found my vocation in online business because of everything that is happening today. But I wasn't a very serious person. I wasn't as mature as as I was 2 years ago or as I'm today. But you truly guided me to the right path, kind of avoiding the holes, avoiding all the roadblocks that people tend to face simply because, as I said, I had you, which you helped me navigate them.
It's amazing, man. So, yeah, I mean, as much as I can, you always have to go through road bumps, you have to go through struggles, right? But the more
100%.
we can mitigate that, right, based off of like I've already made mistakes. So I can teach you the mistakes, and if you learn the lesson from them, you can just kind of skip
Yeah.
that, right?
Yeah.
So, uh, I know you went over it a bit, right? Quite a bit. What would you say made the biggest that what would you say I helped you with that made the biggest difference for you overall?
The time you dedicated to me, I think that's the most important thing. Because I would invite anybody who's watching this interview, regardless, as I said, of what you do, at which stage you are. But I saw the sheer amount of, aside time, but care. I think care is a key word here, is the important word to focus. Now, I don't want to glaze you or something, but
Oh,
the
be
sheer
honest.
amount of care that you showed to a stranger on the other part of the world, you didn't know me, and that was, I think, the thing that stood out the most, which helped me also the most.
Amazing. Was there any specific moment or conversation specifically that really shifted your mind? So, I mean, you went over it a little bit. Was it the first call we had, or was there something that what made it click?
Mm, great question. I think what made it click was not only primarily the first conversation, the 3 hour conversation, because we talked a lot on that call there. You gave me all the guidance, etc. But the thing that clicked the most was when you were able to relate to, the family struggles with the health related issues
That's a
in
big
the
thing
family.
because as a founder and as a bit not to cut you off, but as a founder, business owner, entrepreneur, it's more than just business struggles. It's more than just my CPM's high or, I had fulfillment issues. It's sometimes it's your family, sometimes it's just your relationships, it's your environment. There's so many
Yes.
pieces that take up your mental real estate And if you don't have anybody to help you think through that, it can become overwhelming and you could feel like drowning. Right? I know
Yeah,
I felt like I was
definitely.
drowning many, many times throughout my journey.
Definitely. And yeah, also having kind of someone I could talk to about that because from what I can remember, you kind of went in a similar path with what happened in your family from a health standpoint. So I think that's where also something changed inside me because I had a new responsibility to take care of my parents, and I could not around anymore. Excuse my French, but I needed to get serious. I needed to double down. I needed to put my head down and work because I knew that more responsibility was brought onto my shoulders. So also that I would say was a playing factor that kind of helped me move the needle forward.
Incredible. So this
Yeah,
next question you have elaborated to, but I want you to think if there's anything into your day to day because it's been 2 years, right, since we first
yeah,
met. So, is there anything that from us working together, speaking, even with our, some of the clients we worked on together that we brought you in on, is there
yeah.
anything that you use today in your agency and your businesses that changed the way you operate or the way you think?
I think so. Yeah. Um, the the most the thing that helped me the most, I would have to say, is the team management because the way we were operating internally when working with these clients was definitely something I wouldn't say I hadn't experienced in the past, but it was certainly new. And I think having all of these different experiences did help shape the person I'm today because we got to a point with the agency where I had 12 employees. Now I kind of fire them all and replace them with AI. But yeah,
Oh goodness.
but I think that was the thing that helped me the most because managing the team was a big, big headache. Big headache. The video editor, well, now we still have the video editor, but for example, the graphic design now it's AI. A whole army of appointment setters now are not needed anymore. Having to check up on them every single day and babysit them, it was a pain in the ass. So I think, yeah, the team management would definitely be the aspect that I extrapolated from you guys, which then I brought into my own reality.
It's amazing. So many people think that I just need more, bigger head count. I just need more people on my team, and that's going to fix all of my
No.
problems. It's not always the answer. It can be, but it's not always the answer, especially
Yeah,
with AI now.
yeah, exactly. 100%.
So now let's go more into, where you are today in your business, right? So where would you say you are now in your business and your life as a whole compared to where you were back 2 years ago? I know you kind of went into that, but I guess more business related.
Yeah. So when it comes to our business, now we are scaling we're oscillating between 10 to 30,000 a month. And with that, as I said, I have this marketing agency. It's a full stack. So we do the media buying, the graphic design, copywriting, which also the copywriting has been automated. Um, then we also do the video editing. So now it's a full stack agency, so a 360-degree approach. And it has been systematized a lot, meaning the way I operate the business is very, very different to what it started because now there are, of course, systems in place. I don't need to work in the business, but I can work on the business, which is very different. And yeah, primarily the whole operational side of not only the business but also in my life, everything has changed. And I would say I don't find myself anymore in that hustling mode where I had to literally do anything to quote unquote survive because I was at the early stages. Now I shifted a bit my mindset going from the hustling to the actual founder mindset. So having a long-term vision, operating at a higher level, taking on more responsibilities, working with better clients. It's all of these things here, which once you move to the next step are very important because then it's harder to go from 0 to 1 than from either like let's say 2 or 3 to 10. So I know that also with the advice that you gave me recently for our future projections to get to around 70, $100,000 per month, I know that if I implement those, I will see results soon.
Yeah, man. I mean, you're doing amazing. And it's, being that founder is, like you said, not working, it's cliche, but not working in the business, working on the business. Because it's not
Yeah.
just about a hustle game. It's a thinking game, right? And if you're underwater and you don't have clarity, you can't think, you can't make decisions, you can't make decisions fast. You have millions of meetings with no decisive decisions being made, and
Yeah.
problems just get dragged on instead of being solved. So, you're in an incredible position, and I love to see it.
Appreciate it, brother.
So now, here's a good question. What do you think would have happened? What do you think would have happened if we hadn't worked together?
Shit, that's a good question. I need to think about it. Give me a second.
Take your time.
Things would have been definitely 10 times slower because it was pretty much a domino effect. We met in the group chat in the network on Discord. Started talking. There were mm, a lot of people in that group chat there. But then one thing led to another. Then we talked in the DMs, and then from there I went to your Instagram. From the Instagram to the call. From the call to me joining your program. From your program to you connecting me with other people in your network with your team, and it was a pretty much a domino effect. And it would be very hard for me to tell you how things would have been different. But the only thing that comes to mind would be that definitely my whole progress would have been at least 10, 20 times slower because you guys expedited it a lot. My learning curve, my monetary curve, you expedited kind of multiple areas of the business. So I I don't even know if I can say I think, but definitely in the position I find myself now, I think I could have made it alone. But instead of me taking him, I don't know, like 1 year or 2 years, it would have taken me maybe 3 years or even 3 years and a half, 4 years, who knows? So this is what I'm trying to say. It's hard for me to tell you exactly, but realistically speaking, if we didn't meet, this is what I predict could have happened.
I love it. So, as an entrepreneur, I mean, you have to be a special type of person. No matter what happens, you'll figure it out.
Yeah,
But if you can shorten that time, time is the
who
most
wouldn't?
valuable thing we have. You can make more money, you can't get more time back.
Exactly,
So
exactly.
I'm glad we're able to do that with you.
Yeah, because then you can also dedicate it to the people you care the most. Because I was working a lot at the time. I was also in another city because I had university. So I wasn't necessarily around too much also for my parents to support them. Now, because I have systems in place, also following your guidance and operating at a new level, it allowed me to have more time, more disposable time to invest it in my family. So having more quality time with them. Or in networking. So that also was part of the domino effect because I had the opportunity to meet new entrepreneurs who literally live at 3 to 5 minutes away from my house. And then spending more time with them, I'm also able to level up. So it's like a cascade of events that happened. And I would say that towards the start, that's where you played a very, very important role in making everything else come to play.
Incredible.
Yeah.
So next, what would you say to someone who's where you were, stuck, overwhelmed, or just unsure who to trust, what path to go? What would you say to somebody that was in that position you would say you were about 2 years ago?
take any opportunity you it gets presented to you, because especially if you find someone who shows you care, as we said, that was the key word, who cares for you because they could be doing anything in that time there, but they chose to help you out. I think if there is an opportunity for you to learn, either learn or level up, or regardless, become a better person, take it. Take it, regardless of if you make money or not, because the lessons and the experience will be will give you a higher reward than the money. The money is simply a byproduct of what you do. So definitely try to. I'm giving the advice to someone who is kind of starting out. So it really depends the type of advice, because I can give an advice to someone who's making $10,000 a month, but I can also give it to someone who's doing zero. There are very different realities. Right now I'm talking to someone who where I was 2 years ago, which I didn't really have much going for myself. So that's kind of the advice I would say. Try to get any opportunity that gets presented to yourself. Of course, they need to be logical opportunities. It's not that you can go on slave yourself or nothing. But yeah, that would be kind of the advice. And don't quit. I mean, it's pretty cliche, but it's very important. The only way for you to fail if you quit. So if you give up, that's kind of the idea. And I still use it to this day, because of course we're in general entrepreneurship is not easy, and you're navigating a sea of doubts, of uncertainty, of pressure, of risks, and you could fail at any point. You have zero guarantees that what you're doing will work in the future. But regardless, if you quit, that's where you will fail.
100%, man. I always say, every founder, every entrepreneur, they get into business. Why? Because they want to make money. They want to make $10,000 a month, $100,000. They want to make millions and millions of dollars. But it's not about the money. It's about becoming the person who deserves to make that amount of money. Do you want to make $1 million a month? You can do it. But what does that person look like? And what do you need to do to become that person who deserves $1 million per month?
And funny, because when I had the money, since I started, I always dreamt of making these $10,000 a month, which everybody wants to. And when I made it, I actually didn't feel nothing. I had this complete apathy, and I actually felt more pressure than before. I don't know how to explain it. It's strange. I had this pressure of needing to now repeat what I just made, because I created this new standard. So I completely agree with what you're saying there, Anthony. You're spot on.
It's amazing, man. Everyone thinks, I just need to hit 10,000. I just need to hit 20,000. You will feel the same way when you hit 100,000, when you hit 500,000. You'll feel like, oh my, this is amazing. Now I got to do it again. Now I got to do it again. Now do it again and again. It's
Yeah,
that's why it can't be about the money, because if it's about the money, you will never experience peace. You will always
yeah,
be searching for something more.
definitely.
So, we're wrapping up here pretty soon. We only have a couple more questions. How the next question, how has your success impacted the people around you, your family, team, or your clients?
Well, starting off with the family, when I think everybody has faced a similar circumstance where your family members, if they're not entrepreneurs, they won't understand what you're doing, and they see what you're doing as a risk. And older people tend to be risk averse. I honestly had nothing to lose. I was a kid, I was 19, 18. So I didn't really have much to lose. I only had to gain experience, money, knowledge, and everything. So now when it comes to the way it has changed in my family, at least, the dynamic is a bit different. But what I can say is they're certainly more relaxed now, because they see that we have a solid foundation, we have a solid structure in place, which is making me a lot of money. and I'm able to fully take care of myself. So they don't need to think about me anymore, but they can think about other problems. Now I'm starting to take care also of them. I'll think potentially alleviating economical struggles in the family, debts, etc. So that's
That
also an
probably feels
aspect.
amazing.
100%, 100%. When it comes to the team, they're more confident because there is a structure put in place for now, because they might get replaced by AI if they're. This is a message
They
for you,
better be
team, if you're
perfect
watching.
on time every day, clock in, clock out on time.
Exactly.
I don't know. The AI doesn't miss the schedule, so
Exactly. It doesn't. It really doesn't. But for friends, let's see, with friends, to be honest, I hang out primarily with entrepreneurs, so it's pretty much the same mindset as us. Then what was the other? You said clients, I think,
and clients, yeah.
and clients. Well, they're more confident. They see our results. They see what we have made for other partners of ours. They see our expertise. They simply are happier to work with us because we deliver a fantastic result. We have very good guarantees set in place for them, and they're definitely happy.
Amazing, man. Amazing. That's especially the family. I mean, that's why I started becoming an entrepreneur, right? Because
Yep,
I had to make money to help my family. Because at the end of the day, that's all that matters is our family.
100%,
Like I
100%.
everything else around me could blow up. If my family's okay, that's all I care about.
Yep,
So we got our final question here. Is there anything, well, it's not really a question, but it's really kind of giving you the floor. Was there
yep.
anything that you wanted to add or say that I didn't ask you about?
Aside from what I said, because I spoke a lot, not much else comes to mind. This is a message directly to whoever's watching this video, if you made it this far. As I said, I don't want to be biased, and I don't want to be glazing you, Anthony. But honestly, from the bottom of my heart, I am truly grateful for you taking a chance on me, you dedicating initially that time, because it really meant a lot. It really meant a lot because you created a new path in the different paths I could have taken. I'm glad I took yours because then it led me to where I'm at today. So the message for whoever is watching this video is, if you have an opportunity to work with Anthony, regardless of your stage, where you're at, if you're making 5, 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, regardless of the level, I know for a fact he will be able to help you out simply because he not only has the expertise, but he has the care. And that's, as I said, the most important word for this whole interview. Because a lot of people are working online, a lot of people provide services, a lot of people try to become successful. But in doing that, they focus more on the money rather than in the actual deliverables that they're giving. And if I can advocate for someone, it would be for Anthony, simply because he will, regardless of your situation, will make a huge impact on your life. So that's my message for you viewers.
Incredible, man. I appreciate it so much. So
Absolutely.
glad you're crushing it. Um, and
Thank you, man. Thank you. It
thank you for doing this today. And yeah, that's a wrap.
was a pleasure talking to you, Anthony, and having this interview.
Thank you. And anybody watching this video, click the button on the page, and I look forward to speaking to you soon.